more core and pelvic floor activation with your Core-Tex Sit. So if you're already familiar with the foundational 5, that's what we're going to work out of front to back, side to side, diagonals, circumduction, and spin. We're going to add a component to what we have to do with our pelvic muscles to be able to further activate some of the stabilizers that we want to get after when we're on our Core-Tex Sit. Adductor squeezes are an exercise that we already use to kind of trigger the pelvic floor, mobilize our pubis symphysis in the front, and certainly activate the adductor muscles. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our foam box, or you could take a ball, obviously, that has a little bit of resistance to it, and we're going to maintain a constant pressure on that. So I've got some squeeze going on here, not exhausting, but enough that I feel the muscles through here working. Now, if I just wanted to squeeze and release, that in and of itself will cause this little bit of perturbation, this little shake, that will require an increase in stabilization. But what we can also do is maintain a constant pressure and then go through our foundational 5 with our A to P. We can do our side to sides, we can do our diagonals, we can do our circumduction, and we can do our spin. All of those while I'm maintaining a pressure on here, which keeps my hip alignment in a certain position, but again, triggers some of these stabilizing muscles to upregulate, turn on a little bit more. Another option is we can use either an elastic belt that has a little bit of give, or one of our non-elastic straps that we use for some of our exercise. So I've got this gray band on here. It has a little bit of resistance to it. I'm going to keep a little bit of outward pressure on it. Again, I could just do that traditional abducting exercise here against it, and every rep is going to create a little bit of this perturbation here, depending on how good my balance is, that I'm going to have to respond to and increase the variability to what's going on to the system. The other thing that we could do is I could keep pressure on it so that these guys are on and engaged, and then again go through the foundational 5 from this position with the diagonals, and then my circumduction, and then the spins as well. And number 3 that we're going to add to all this is a bit more challenging. And so the goal here is to, in my case, I'm going to stay oriented or facing the camera. And I'm going to do the best I can to minimize how much I move, because there's going to be a lot of challenge going on from both a balance and a stabilization standpoint. So as I orientate myself to the camera, I'm going to take one leg and I'm going to lift it out, and I can toe tap for a little bit of stabilization and come back. But I've got to really use a lot going on here. Okay, now what some folks will do is they'll go out and they'll actually pause and recover and then return. But notice what I'm not doing. I'm not doing a big shift in my body. I'm not letting the Core-Tex Sit go flying in one direction or the other. Obviously we have a stopper in here, but what I have to do is I have to draw the stability from the ground up all the way through into my hip and then into my core. So as I tap and come back and I maintain this, okay, and go out and back, there's a whole lot going on here, and it can be very challenging, but in a really good way, because I need to keep this passenger nice and still while I go through all of that. Give this a try. Let us know what you think.